Hi guys, welcome back to Trash It. We've got a full house today. We've got Funsho, Jude, Ajike, and Yori. You should already know these people by now, okay? So the topic we're going to be trashing today is we just want to find out because you see a lot of younger girls marrying older men these days. I'm not going to name names, but we know a very prominent one, right? Okay. Actually, there are two of them. Some of you would know. I think one is a chief. He has loads of younger wives. He's in his 80s, I believe, right? Okay. And then the other one is he's a he's a very rich billionaire, millionaire, whatever it is, and a Nigerian actress is married to him. And obviously, she's old enough to be his granddaughter. So the question we want to find out, what we want to discuss today is it really possible for a younger girl to marry an older man, someone who's old enough to be her grandfather, without just for love? If let's assume the man didn't have money, just for love, is that really possible? Ajike, let me come to you first, okay? Because a lot of things like this, although a lot of things like this happen in European countries as well, in Europe, but it's quite rampant now in Nigeria, since you're Nigerian based. So let me come to you first. What do you think? Is this just love? Or do you think there are other things, there are other factors to this?
Well, the issue for me is that I would say they have daddy issues, but I want to believe that somehow there's an atom or iota of love somewhere. Because, in the days before now, when I was younger, most of our own parents most of our mothers married older men. My dad is much older than my mom. But, when I was growing up, my mom would tell me that, no, the maximum it will be 10 years. She would probably tell, because, obviously she was a bit more educated and she saw how many opportunities she had to let go to please him, because then she's not like that. The husband is talking to you, are talking. It's not like that. Obedience is the basis of most marriages, was the base of most marriages then. So for now, I think many people are under the pressure of Instagram. They want to live the good life. And these men already, they are okay. They are more than okay, safe. So they want to live the good life. So I think it's more of trying to keep up with the Joneses, have a good life than love. For me, in my own opinion.
Okay, so what about the saying where some girls would say they're more attracted to older men because younger guys or guys their age are immature? Do you think that has anything to do with it?
Yes, but not that much of an age gap.
Okay.
Yes, not that much of an age gap. For me, no. It's possible you want someone much older. But at times, really, if you look at it, if you marry your age mate, like not like personally, I cannot marry my age mate because I don't have respect. Normally, on a good day, I'm not the most respectful person. So if I marry my age mate, when I'm talking to you, you'll be annoyed. So it's better I marry somebody that is, a bit older. But that does now not mean that I will now go and marry old Baba because I want. No. But for me, that was just like, I couldn't marry someone that was my mate or someone that was older than. No, for me, it's a no.
Okay. Yori, let me come to you because I can see you're laughing and it looks like you're maybe concurring to what Ajike is saying. What do you think about this?
One, I quite agree with Ajike. There's some times that girls tend to date older men, girls that have daddy issues. Mm-hmm. So you're looking for that role model that was missing in your formative age. At the same time, it depends on the crowd that you're kind of rolling with. For example, if we look at the youngest of the Kardashian, Jenner, I can't remember her name, Kylie or Kendall now. She tends to date older guys because those are the people that she sees. So the people coming through her forefront are people like Kanye's friends, and then Kanye's are in their 40s. So she dated Tiger when she was 15 and Tiger was like 26. I think the youngest person she's probably dated is the guy that she's got a baby with. So the people, look at Scott. Scott also dates younger children because their circle.
Children.
I said children because
I
he's
beg
like 32.
This ain't no Prince Andrew. I beg.
Scott is like 32, and I think when he was dating Sophie Richie, she was probably 18. So you think, what does a 32 have in common with a 16-year-old or an 18-year-old? And depending on the state that you're in America, I know you can date people around 16, you just can't marry them. So it depends on how people think. And then if you look at the society and the construct, most girls that date older men, there's always a financial incentive to it. So I can't date a younger person because I have some things that I think a younger person can't provide for me. And what kind of 20-something-year-old give an 80-year-old man? Apart from I've got this little cherry on the cake that I'm holding. If you're thinking about academically, they're not on the same level.
Mm-hmm.
So what can you be telling an octogenarian that he hasn't seen? Maybe Snapchat, because a lot of them are not on Snapchat. You get what I'm saying? So some people say, well, you develop love, but it's easy to develop love if someone is chiming money into you and if that's what you're singing into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Funsho, let me come to you. So do you think that, for example, a 20-year-old girl can marry a 70-year-old man and she would, okay, let's open it up now. Let's look at Regina Daniels, for example, right? She's married to Ned Nwoko, and Ned Nwoko is at least 30 years older than her.
An ancestor.
Exactly. And I believe it's more. So do you think that marriage is just for love, or do you think there are other things involved in it?
If I remember this Virginia Daniels story very well, I remember in the beginning, she refused to confirm it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Ned that was confirming it. So are you telling me you love that person and you're still keeping him? I think it was more financial incentives that made Regina Daniel like go along with Ned Nwoko. There is no way you tell me an older person, an older man, is going to be married to a younger lady for love. If you're saying 10 years difference, yeah, that's the maximum I can also go. My friends know me back then. I like to take them young. I used to tell them I catch them young, then I groom them.
Hey, Jesus Christ.
Sorry, can we just be clear? When you say you catch them young, how young are we talking
18,
about?
Above
Okay,
18.
right.
Definitely above 18. But I prefer to catch them young. I wait till they develop. Because I was also young then. I liked.
Now you're waiting for them to develop.
I don't enter today.
I see the future from the present. You know, I know that all the shape, the front, the back will come with time.
Oh God, this is too graphic.
But the lady has to be like a very good character and everything from now. And most times, it's more of they look up to me because of the way I tried to like tell them to focus on their life and stuff like that. It starts a friendship, then eventually develops into a relationship. Now, what I'm trying to say in essence is that the maximum I can go is 10 years. Anything beyond that, I think there's no love in it.
Okay. Thank you, Funsho. Jude, let me come to you before we move on to the next part of this. So what do you think? Is this love or is it lost?
Just to quickly touch on how you started the whole thing. You said it's kind of rampant. What that was the word you used? I can't remember.
Yeah.
This has been happening for ages before even my parents were born. The only difference is now we have social media that brings this directly into our homes. It's been like that. Most of our parents married or got into this family way from a very, very young age. I'm talking 13, 12, 14, 15. This were normal things then. Kings married young women. No kings ever married their age grade. The women were brought to them in the Nigeria parlance as dash. Big men were doing all of that. So it's not just happening now. And it's all over the world, like you rightly pointed out. Naomi Campbell is a typical example. She's dated people older than her with like 40 years. That is happening everywhere. In America, Britain, everywhere. Princess Diana did the same thing. It's still going on. Sometimes, to address this question, you need to address what love is. I don't believe there's anything like love. The only love I believe in is the love of parents to their children. That's what I believe is the only type of love that I really think exists, that relationship. Love between the man and the woman. This is me. Love between the man and the woman, like Yori pointed out. These things do develop. Whether it's what is called love, I don't know. If you ask me today if I will take a bullet for my wife, I will gladly take it. If you want to call that love, great. If you ask me if I will jump and push my wife out of the danger, I will gladly do it. If you want to call that love, great. So Regina Daniels or people who married older people, they should be in the better position to explain whether it is love for them. But at the end of it, though, marriage, as I've always said, or this family way, it's always been about economics. It's always been about seeking for that companionship. It's always been about filling a void. I don't know if it's daddy issues for them or it's mommy issues for men who go for older people. My wife will be 44 in March. I'll be 43. She's older than me with a year and 2 weeks. We don't see any difference. There's no disrespect.
We're talking about 30 years, Jude.
I know.
30, 40 years difference.
Yes. I'm saying this. But if we're saying 30 years, most of our parents did the same. So Regina Daniels is just following the footsteps of what's been going on.
So are you saying, sorry, Jude, are you saying that some of our parents are married to men that are like 30, 40 years older than them?
Of course, it's there. Most of our parents did get into family way. Their first children were for people who were like 20, 25, 30 years older than them.
I think maybe that's our grand and great grandparents' generation, not our parents.
The picture I'm trying to point is it happened, not be the Regina Daniels startup. We only just get off our face now because social media brings it here. This is something that's been going on all over. Putin has a young girlfriend. Why do you think so? Donald Trump have had grabbed them by the pussy, the young girls. Yes. Why? Look, there's something going on. These people want comfort. At my age, I can't afford a woman my age or the one I'm older than 5 years the way she want to enjoy life. Nedu Nwoko can do that. He can take her to Antarctica and take her to Egypt and back in one day. Thank God for people like Davido today who have private jet. They can fly their age grade. But these people, I won't blame any woman because at the end of the day, man, I ain't dying for no love. Life is about making it. Life is about economics. Life is about what you want to achieve out of it. If you want to achieve that with Nedu Nwoko, great. If you want to achieve that with Obasanjo, great. What is Obasanjo or Nedu Nwoko getting in return? They're getting freaky from the young ones. Great, everybody is happy. That's what I'm trying to say. Whether it's love, I don't know.
Okay, Funsho, you were going to say something. Can we come to you?
Yeah, so I was going to, when you were saying about our parents did it in the past, I was going to say that, yeah, we know these things happened in the past. In the older generations, it happened. Yeah, because those times they didn't have a choice. You were betrothed to someone or you're giving to someone and you couldn't protest. But in this generation we are right now, there's a little tiny bit. In fact, there's a lot of freedom. You could reject those kind of arrangements.
But like he said it's economics and it's their choice. It's also their choice. Definitely nobody pushed her to him or pushed them to the older men. But they feel that, okay, this is what I want out of life. And if this person is going to help me to make it, because really, that's the truth. Everybody is coming into a relationship with something. It's not just pure blind love.
So that means we go back to the beginning of the whole topic, which means that there is no love in the whole process. And that's what I was trying to say from the beginning. There's no love in it.
He said it that let them come and explain themselves. That's the truth. It's only from
you don't even have to come to explain. From what he has said now, from what you have said, there is no love. I joke with my wife always. I say to her, when I'm 60, dear, I'm sorry. I need to find a freaky because you won't be able to handle me. I tell her every day.
I like that.
By 60, I'm going for a freaky. That this marriage arrangement by 60 would have to resign it. I have to look for a younger blood to freak you up.
Between you and your wife and not the freaky you want to possess. But for me, it's not your business. And I hope she's ready to look for one guy that
exactly.
No, what I'm trying to say.
Yes, and you must accept it. Let me tell you this thing. See, let me tell. Don't think that because she is old that her sexual distance is going down. No. Forget that there. See, if I know your wife said, if I'm her, I will be arranging the kind of revenge I will arrange for you yourself. That thing you said,
let me just chime in for 2 seconds. Jude and Funsho, you were saying, it used to happen in the past. No, probably not with our parents, because the age difference between my parents is not that, maybe 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Maybe we're talking in days of Chinachi-based things fall apart. That's the time you're talking about. But see, the thing about it is that, look, I know of a young lady, and the first person that she came in contact with was an older man. And that was the first person that she kind of saw as someone that could love, someone that listened to her, blah, blah, blah. And that kind of dictates the kind of relationship she went into later in life. It's the first person that open mouth that you kind of dictate how you live it. But we can't negate the fact that people that do have daddy issues, it might not be a trend, but there's statistics to say that girls, that their fathers I've not been part of their life, there's a percentage of them that tend to go for older men. If we're to use the young lady we're talking about, Regina, where he's a dad, if we're to look at the one that married the guy with Biafra, where was her father? And if you look at the rich ones like Jenna,
her father was in the picture. He was her father's friend.
Yeah, but
Yes,
was he
yes,
present
yes,
in her
yes,
life?
Her father was in the picture. Her father was not speaking to
Hold
her
on.
after it happened.
Okay,
Yes.
but no. You can be in your child's life. Were you present in your child's life?
This one was present.
According
to the story I heard,
He wasn't present. He was there as a father, but he wasn't present. You can be there.
That was very, 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 very usual of the time. My dad is almost 80. Now, if you want to think back about, like, now, I don't know how old your own father is, but my friends that their fathers are in their feet, okay, I'm 40, their fathers are in their 60s, and their fathers were more present than my own dad. My dad didn't understand what is that, but now that he's older, and he's a grandfather, great-grandfather, he's beginning to appreciate that. But for me, you guys say, what is by letting you have moved? They have patience for that.
Let me go back to you. You've just said it. Now he's older. So imagine if you had not been a well-rounded human being. Do you know what that void would have affected in your life? There's some people who are, you said something. What probably you've given back to you, then you do more with yourself. Not everybody has the ability to do that. So
Yuri, I'm going to interrupt. I don't want us to go all psychology. We can do that, but I don't want us to do that.
Oh, Look, Jude,
at the base of it all.
Pump your brakes. My first
At the base of it all. At the base of it all. At the base of it all, humans need to satisfy their needs. You see, I'm not saying, I don't know if these girls came from, or these ladies today came from poor background. But look, I'm telling you, Ajike mentioned pressure of the social media. We must not just disregard that fact. Today, I've opened Instagram more than 20 million times today, if that's true. And things that I've seen, my dear, I could have jumped out of the window. I'm seeing flat tummy. I'm seeing six pack. I'm seeing big ass. I'm seeing every freaky. I'm like, Jude, I need this. Jude need this. I need to be in that private jet. I need to be doing this. I need to be burying my head on that. Oh, you know, the thoughts come. And if I'm seeing a woman who is offering me that, let me tell you a very good example. I have a friend, very rich woman. The husband is one of the global presidents of the top banks in this country. She was telling me one day, my friend, the husband left for an older woman. And I pushed her. What gives? This guy used to be a professional rugby player in this country. He said she bought him a Ferrari. I said, there you go. Jesus, I would run away. I said, my favorite car is Ford Mustang. It's only 40K. And this person buying a Ferrari. Now you're crying why you left for an older person. Something is being fulfilled at every given time. If it's not being fulfilled in other aspect of your life, like Regina's case, maybe she was with her parents and now she wants to go Egypt because her friends are going Egypt. Her friends are going Dubai. They're going Qatar. Ned just walks in and is offering all of that on a platter of gold. Man, I'm grabbing it. It's life. I'm fulfilling something and I'm achieving. It's our prayers. Our prayers are being answered. We must not disregard that.
Okay. Let me come to the next angle to this. So Funsho, you mentioned earlier and you said when you're in your 60s, and I think you said you've already been telling your wife when you're in your 60s, you're going to resign your marriage contract, right? Because you want freaky, and because you don't think she's going to be able to give it to you the way you want it. Now, let's look at it from the other angle, where a man, an 80-year-old man, marries a 20-year-old girl. Now, obviously, you can't tell me that the 80-year-old man would have the same sexual drive as a 30-year-old man. So how is the man going to satisfy the woman? And how is that marriage going to work sexually?
See, that is what I said in the beginning, or what I've been saying since. That there's nothing like love involved in this whole cycle. It's a transaction. I might be 80 years old. I don't have the strength of a 30-year-old man, but I can lie down there and a 20-year-old girl or a 30-year-old girl can ride.
Ride what? Ride what? Is it not
Yuri, what are you driving at? What is Yuri doing?
Wait.
I'm dancing.
Wait.
So what are they riding? Is it not something that stand we ride?
Yeah. So what are they to ride?
80-year-old will not stand.
I don't think it will stand long enough for you to be reading.
Hey. None of you have had the experience, so we shouldn't be talking.
But I'm just saying.
I have a friend.
Except we're talking about a 30-second ride, like on the mechanical bull that throws you off. Except you're talking about that. Because I don't think...
I know I have a friend that the father is 80 years old and he's still active.
Is he on Viagra?
Maybe what they told you. Are you there? It's what they told you. Are you there? Did you see it?
Oh.
Let me say something, Funsho. The 80-year-old man might be like he's 2 minutes. He's not even 2 minutes.
It doesn't matter.
But what about the girl?
You guys are stereotyping old people.
But wait, another question, right? Now, because this sexual thing is very deep, because that's what makes up a marriage. That's what keeps a marriage. So are you telling me that an 80-year-old man can give the girl head?
Why not? He tongue the penam. He tongue the penam.
Okay.
Are you sure that he would even want to do it self? Would he even want to do it?
Why not go give head?
This way.
80-year-old.
Why not go give head?
He might not be able to give the head, but he's giving something else in return. With the girl,
but money cannot always satisfy sexual desires, because what you're now saying is, I'm giving you the money, go and get somebody to satisfy your sexual desires.
Money does bring some people to orgasm. Trust me, man. Seriously.
The alert alone.
It does bring some. Yeah, so the alert just triggers the orgasm. It's facts.
And in
This
most
is
of
facts.
these
There's statistics.
In most of these relationships where there's a younger lady and a very old man, the younger lady is always having a spare tire by the side that is always fulfilling that side.
Transactional.
Yeah,
You're right.
Transactional.
Oh my God.
I don't know if you know there's a Jude, you might have heard this WhatsApp going around. I think it's on Africa Jagbajanti's page. And this young lady was she sent a voice note to her boyfriend that, your name has caused kasala. Hold on. That your name has caused kasala in our house. That means your name has caused problem in our house. That myself and Elijah were going on, and I started shouting your name. And Elijah was like, who is that? Blah, blah, blah. So obviously, they've got a side dish.
Of course. Of course.
It is transactional. There's no
It is
love
transactional.
involved. I get what I want to get, even if I last 2 minutes or 1 second. It doesn't matter. I've come. And you get your money.
And I suppose this is also where things like cuckold happens as well, where the man, knowing that he can't satisfy his wife sexually, would get a man and pay that man to help him deliver those services to his wife, which is Jude, something you have said you don't mind doing. You have said it before in the show.
Yeah. I'm starting up my business very soon.
Okay, so there you go. Interesting. So at the end of the day, when we also, because with Regina's case, let's look at it from another angle. As you guys have said, it's financial, it's economical. So it could also be the fact that Ned has promised Regina all these things. Regina has siblings. I know she was a Nollywood actress right from when she was a child, and now she's grown into this big girl, whatnot. I'm sure financially the family would also want support from Ned, and these are the things that Ned would have promised her. And this is another reason why she's decided to go with him. So maybe she's taking one for her family. And I know recently she bought her mom a car, and people were saying, I mean, come on now, that's long overdue. You should have been buying her a house, not just a car, right? So what do we think? Do we think sometimes these people that go and marry older men, it's not just by choice? Because really and truly, if they found a young man who had the same money as the old man, I'm sure they would marry the young man. But because this old man is promising a lot and they have a lot of responsibility regarding their family, then they go with the older man. Yori, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say something. Not necessarily promising. It's the fact that I'm marrying into a prestigious family. Let's look Shade Okoya, for example. Shade was Chief Okoya's daughter's school daughter in secondary school. Yeah. So, and then when they got to Unilag, she was coming around the house and she saw how hands-on this man is with his children. They finish, he gets them all set up in school, you finish school abroad, they set up in Eleganza. And I think this was something that I said, well, I don't have to worry. She's now the chairman, her husband is the chairman of Eleganza, she's the director or CEO or something. She's something, like she's in charge of that business. So she's taking over. She's the one that, like, I know someone that's really close to the family. This young lady apparently wakes up. She's in her 40s. This man is close to his 90 or 80s. before she goes on to the office, she will wake up, make sure this man's breakfast is all set up. The man doesn't come to the office anymore. Breakfast is set up, takes care of the man, medication, goes to the office, comes back for lunch, make sure the man's food is set up. They eat together. She plates
God bless her.
food.
God bless her.
She's like, so the man has willingly given her everything. She's got control of that company. So there's some people that see into the future. They say a soldier that knows war wins, that knows the war wins the fight or whatever. I don't know how the analogy goes. So that girl, as me and you are thinking about now, this girl is thinking of 20 years from now. And she's plotted herself in. All her 4 kids are actually their birthdays is their dad's birthday. So she's giving birth on the man's birthday. Wow. So this girl is calculated. So for her, she's seen a future. Heaven forbid this man kicks the bucket. She can go and marry another young person. She has invested.
So that's what I was trying to say since, that sometimes it's more of what I can get out of this situation. I know. Let me agree with you guys, like with Yori, that sometimes affection or feelings develop along the line. That this man has been taking care of me, so I might develop a soft spot for the person. But from beginning, it may not actually have anything to do with love, but rather what you can actually get from the relationship. I'll give you guys another example. I don't know if you guys remember Jumobi. I'm not saying that Adegbeson that married RMD.
Yeah.
You know, I think there was 20 years difference between them. But I want to believe that she could see what he could offer. Even at that point in her career, that she was still growing and everything. And they're still together till today.
If you are going to use RMD and Jumobi, if anybody would open mouths, if RMD opened mouths to anybody, they would date him.
Exactly.
Because he was a widower. 2, he was the James Bond of Nigeria and still is. So trust me, there was more she was gonna gain by being his wife. And it didn't really matter. But look at them now.
And after all of that, Nedu Oko can employ RMD to be his cleaner. What would they talk here, I beg?
Yes.
Look, may I give you an example? You know Stephen Hawking. You guys know Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
The guy who saw the black hole or something, that famous physicist and all. He was married to his sweetheart from uni. Yeah. And all of that trouble happened with his motor neuron and all of that. He couldn't walk any longer. Now, you would think this man don't have needs, he don't have feelings because his legs don't work, his penis don't work, or his third leg don't work. That's what the wife did. She just assumed that thing can't work. Your legs don't work, your third leg, your penis don't work either. She neglected that aspect of him. Now, he allowed her to start seeing a priest, that she went for prayers. And she was sleeping with that guy. Fine, because she's made Stephen think, I can't really satisfy you. You're still young. Your life is ahead of you. You've done well by me. You've moved with me. You knew I had this disease. You still married me. That's enough. Enjoy yourselves. But bam, they had an au pair. A lady, I think she's American. She came to be au pair. And this woman came and caught Stephen looking at a not full porn magazine, you know, those soft porn magazines. And it was like, ooh, you cheeky, you still got it. Ooh. And she immediately keyed into the knowledge, like you key into the Holy Spirit when you're in the church. She keyed into the knowledge. I said, whoa, Baba still gets something, they feel I'm there. And she said, wow. And she went the next step, pleasure the guy. She ended up marrying the man, and I'm pretty sure inheritance. Now that woman. So you see, they already touched on something very early the first time she said it. You don't know when the man said sweet thing to the lady, whether she said, wow, nobody ever woo me off my feet like this. And you don't know waiting that young woman touch for Ned body, and Ned go say, I just wake up. All my years they see women, I never get this. You know what? I'll give you everything. You know what David see now when they look outside the window? You know what Solomon see too now when he met Beersheba? So I'm telling you the truth, we don't know what Ned see, we don't know what she see, because we can never tell. And people, like I said, Stephen Hawking own happened. It's there. It's historical. It just happened not too long. And that woman saw that Babasti, they feel something, and she pleasured him. And actually, he worked. And that man ended up asking the other woman to leave. Bye.
Wow.
So, yes.
I mean, in the midst of all of this, there's also the issue of the man obviously has other children, right? And you find out that the man, some of the man's children are the same age or even older than this young girl. Do you understand? So how would, because I know of instances where these women have been married to men and these men have children and their children are the same age as the woman, as a new wife. So Ajike, let me come to you. How will the woman manage in all of this? How is she going to deal with the societal pressure?
Well, it's going to be two ways. Yoruba say back on Meji. Is it that the children will accept? You know, there are sometimes maybe the man is a widower, they look at it that okay, you know, let him just marry whoever. And even at that, they could still be antagonistic. So it now depends on the woman, how she can handle it. And if she cannot handle it, she will move on with her life. But you know, children, and it depends, it also depends on the man himself. If it's like this woman I want to be with, there's nothing, you are my daughter, can I sleep with you? No, so please leave me alone, let me live my life. You know, so I don't think children should come and make a decision, especially in their parents' lives. If whatever, even if they separated, your mother and the father had something and whatever happened. It should not be your place. Really, that's my own take on it. It should not be the children's place to make any decision, whether they are age mates with the girl or they are even older. It's not their business. It's their father, their business. And if they have finished whatever they have to do with the father, they don't have to respect the woman. They don't even have to talk to her. They don't have to have anything to do with the person. So really, I mean, that's my own take on it. Anyway.
Ajike made a valid point, which is the father cannot sleep with his daughter. And the father has to get his freaky on.
I don't know.
Yeah, Mr. Macaroni, what's the problem?
You must have watched too much macaroni.
I know.
I'm a fan of his, actually.
He's a great actor.
So,
yeah.
So having said that, my mom is late. If my dad says he wants to marry this young girl now, I'll be the one to toast the girl for my dad. Okay, you like this man? Don't worry, we'll take care of you. Sure, you get. We are 4 of us, and we're all grown, we're all married, you know. And so if he decides to get someone that's younger than me or like his last one, we don't have a problem with it. Yeah. So long as they want themselves, then yeah. The only clause I will give is no more children.
I don't want to send anybody to school.
But you're denying the woman. You're denying the woman that.
Anybody to school.
As a child, I will be the one that will take care of it. I don't want.
I know. You gotta be smart in your decisions. But I think Ajike touched on something that.
Child, I'll be the one to take care of it. I don't want the extra burden on me.
Yeah. Ajike touched on something that I would like to stress on. I don't know if Ajike is reflecting based on hindsight now, because I know my mother, she's late now. And growing up, you see your parents has always been old people. You actually don't know their actual age. I've always thought my mom was that old. Looking back, I realized that period of time, my mom was only in her 30s. So, they gave up their life just to take care of their kids. Wow. And they were not satisfying themselves other ways. My mom had a young man who was older than me, but quite younger, who wanted to be freaking on the mom. And trust me, with my big head, I used shovel, drive that guy from my house. I'm not joking, physical shovel. I almost broke his Mercedes-Benz car. I said, if you come here again, I'll destroy everything. Ajike mentioned that thing, and it just touched me so much because I denied my mom a lot. And my other brother came out and said, what will be your problem? Your mama won't get on, let her get on. Our life. But you know why I did what I did? Growing up, man, you think peer pressure don't get to you. I was outside one day when some idiot friend of mine said, now small boy, they come to sleep with your mama. You grow without the try talk. So that anger, I said, man, the next time I go catch this guy, I die. And he came. Unknown to him, I take a shovel. I pursue him. I say, if you don't move now, go destroy your Benz 230 down, gold color. But at the end of the day, looking back, what I'm laughing about, I'm talking now, but it's really, really touching because I denied my mom all of that. It's her life. I always thought old woman, but she was young. She was in her 30s. I'll be 43 next March. And I still want to freaking on a lot. And I denied my mom that. You see what I mean? So like I was saying, it's always about what they want. I cannot deny Nedunwoko what he wants if he's not getting it from matured women. Some of us young men, we want the matured women because it's thoughts they put in our head. They tell us, oh, the matured women, man, they can do this, they can do that. And you start looking at your wife at home. And you start looking and say, she's not doing that. Sometimes these things are lies. Until you try them, you won't know. They might have told Ned, man, like
Right.
Macaroni always said to his people, have you seen the young freaky there? Freaky everywhere. Until they try to say, Macaroni, you're lying. You won't know until you try these things. Well, Ajike made that fantastic, but I thought I should just stress on that yeah, it is about the person. It's about their feelings. We must not assume that anyone is dead. I can't look at Obasanjo now or Buhari, the clone, and say Buhari doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So exactly.
Okay, well, let's round up here because this has been a very interesting conversation. But obviously, we realize that most of these girls that go on and marry men that are older than them, they're not always the only wife. They're maybe the second, third, fourth, or fifth. And it's in a way, it's kind of sad because, you know, when like all of us on this panel now, we're married, we have our husbands, we have our wives, and we cuddle up to them at night, 365 days a year. We don't have to share them with anybody. But these girls, right, they have to share. And who is the one enjoying? It's the man, because the man is having different women, maybe one every month, every week. Whereas the girl, there are sometimes she'll be in her bed, in her room, no man. She has to wait for her turn, you know. So it's the money can cause her. Is that what you said?
It's really a mental. Like I said earlier, she would have looked at everything. And
but you know what, Ajike, wait, let me tell you something, right? It's not, sometimes you would not always know how you would feel if you haven't experienced something. Yeah. She might have thought and said, do you know what? I don't care. I beg. I will put the money on my bed and cuddle the money. My Ferrari is parked outside. It doesn't matter. But trust me, when she's inside, that's when she's going to realize, and there would always be that thing that is missing. And she would always say, wow, I didn't know this is how it would be.
This topic you're bringing up is an entire gist on its own. Polygamy, especially when it comes to polygamy, it's not like maybe the man's wife died, then you are dealing with the children. No, that was one of the questions. That was what I was even trying to bring up. You know, this person, maybe a widower, his wife passed away, they are now stepping in, or whatever the case. That's a different ballgame from polygamy. Polygamy, you already know that Ojogun ni mo n lọ, but except you are stupid, that you will not know. That even the most senior wife that is, maybe you feel she has had all her children, she's a grandmother, she might not necessarily be freaky. Let me use the language we have been using here, as freaky as that. But she would wonder in her old, she would have expected, I'm sure, the day she was getting married, that, oh, when I'm growing old, me and this man at least will be visiting our children together, we'll be taking care of our grandchildren together. And the man is saying, no, it's the latest freaky in the house I want to be with. So you obviously have, I don't think I'll be going into that kind of situation and not understanding that I'm going into battle.
You're trying to
but you might not know how it's going to affect you.
Obviously, you will not know.
Right? Yeah.
Obviously, you will not. And you might even get there and have peace. I schooled in Mina. There's this particular girl, I always remember her name, Urera. Now, her father has many wives. I can't remember how many wives. The man, do you know what we do? When one woman gives birth, and she's giving birth, he's collecting the baby from the woman and giving it to another wife. All the women in that harem, because that's the only thing I can say, the harem of women he had, none of them raised their children.
Wow.
Now, because he felt that if the ones that raised their children themselves, they would, maybe there'll be round call. To him, that was the way he could. So Urera herself was not raised by her mother. Now, maybe Urera's mother might not have even known that that's what the man would do. So there are some things that you will not experience. That's why you don't know what you are going into, but you should have an open mind, really. Because you have been open-minded enough to marry somebody that had a wife before. So you should be more open-minded to know that anything can come from anywhere. And, so for me, I think you'll be stupid going into it and being naive. No.
Okay, thank you very much, Ajike, for that. Well, I think we're going to round up now. And I mean, I don't know if does anybody else have anything to say?
I was just going to say that sometimes some girls go into relationships like this because they don't want to deal with a man full time. I've known of a lady that said, well, I know what I'm going into. This man has loads of wives and I'll probably see him maybe once every 3 months and that's okay with me. I get to live my life. I get to go to my business. I get to see my friends. Whenever he comes around, I will give him his time. He gives me my time. It doesn't stop me from being who I am. She can still hoe about as she wants to be. But
Oh, did you say hoe about?
yeah, but that situation works for her. Because the caveat is, oh, everybody wants to be married. So I am married. I am Mrs. So-and-so. I get to see my husband every quarter or whenever is available, but I still get to do my shit. For her, it's a win-win, catch 22. So some people, some people, that is how they want to live their life. And I don't judge them. You stay within your comfort, whatever works for you. Be it Nedunwoko, be it Eleganza, be it whatever. Nobody is promised tomorrow. That's why sometimes I think this whole marriage thing, that's why I said your marriage doesn't really define you. But if you want to be married, we need to be rearranging this. Maybe every 20 years, we need to come back and be like, are we still continuing or are we moving? So that we won't be like situation in full shop will now be revisiting situation when his equipment is not
equipment.
Anyway, guys, let's round up now.
Before you round up, I just wanted to say something. I know we've said no love and all those things, but there was one thing Yori mentioned, and it's very important to just say it also, that sometimes the first experience actually determines what comes after. If you started with an older man, the way he treats you and cuddles you and everything, talk to you, there's a tendency that when you date a younger man, you might not get the same thing, and you might be forced to look for another older man, and that trend continues. So it's also possible that love might come in from that kind of scenario. But what I'm saying is, out of 10 cases, maybe 2 is love. The remaining 8 is transactional.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Anyway, me to wrap up, I need my own Desani and Lizzie Madueke too. You know our number, let me have it. It's simple. True.
Please ignore that because Jude is a happily married man, right?
Okay. Ignore that.
I want to buy a Mustang.
You know what I mean? Mustang ain't coming through my day job, you know.
You'll never know. Anyway, on that note, thank you guys for joining us, and thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again next week. Bye. Bye.